We're going to make a spicy mayonnaise or aioli dip. Now, traditionally, this is not the way it's made, so nobody has to make a comment that I don't know what I'm doing. If it was aioli, I wouldn't be using the whole egg. And in mayonnaise, you can use the whole egg or the egg yolks. In aioli, it's the egg yolk with garlic and virgin olive oil. So we have a combination here of both. It's going to be a spicy dip, and it's going to have the garlic from aioli, the olive oil from aioli, and the egg from both, the whole egg, mainly from mayonnaise, or just the egg yolk, but this way you don't have to play so much with the water amount. So if it works, it works. We are going to start off, well, just let me say, I'm using my basil paste. You can either buy the basil paste in the supermarket, I've seen tubes of it, but you never know what's in there. All this is ground up basil with some olive oil, put in a container frozen, use it whenever you need it. What could be better? And we're going to put into this, now this is going to be used for dips. Let's say you make a fried shrimp, you want to dip it. Piece of whatever kind of coated chicken, and you want to dip it. This is like an all-purpose great item to have, and easy, because the basic items that are going into it are very tasty, especially this guy, this sriracha hot chili sauce, which is in the last few years become very popular in kitchens. So you can do this in the Cuisinart, in the blender. I'm going to do it by hand, even though I do have the other items, just to show you it is fairly easy. So we have here the olive oil and the one egg. Whisk the egg and then drizzle. I mean drizzle until this gets thick. You know, this way you avoid using the Cuisinart and making just this little amount, because this 1 cup is enough for quite a bit of dipping. And one less thing to clean. This bowl is very simple to clean. Now if you notice, it hasn't broken, and I don't think it will, because you have to drizzle it very slowly. Excuse me. And once I add the 1 cup, and notice I'm down in the sink. It's so easy to work with your arm extended downward than having to do it on top of the counter. It just seems easier. And you know what they say, only to go in one direction, especially when you're making hollandaise in this? Well, purposely, just like when my mother said, don't eat the watermelon rind because it'll make you sick. I ate the white part, never got sick, and never broke my mayonnaise or hollandaise sauce from whipping both ways. So that's the addition of the 1 cup. It looks very thin, but you know what? Tomorrow, watch how much thicker it is. Now, we're going to add a couple of other things which will help in the emulsification, which will, not that we need it because it's already been emulsified with the egg yolk. So we're going to put in, is that a teaspoon? Put on my glasses. I think it is. No, it's a half a teaspoon. Good, that's all I wanted. A half a teaspoon of Dijon. Now, quite often, that goes into mayonnaise, along with vinegar or lemon juice. So let me write that down. A half a teaspoon of mayonnaise. I mean of Dijon. Half teaspoon. Oh, so you realize now, I do these on the fly, these recipes. You know, I mean, I've made this in the past, but I never write down the quantities. But when you're making a recipe for people to follow, you have to put down the quantities. And we're going to add to that. This is going to be spicy. I did say that, right? So we're going to put in a tablespoon of sriracha hot sauce. Very good. And then we have the basil paste. I'm going to shut this off for a minute because I forgot an important item, and that's the garlic. So I have to get it, mince it up first. Now, I'm going to add, aside from the garlic, another tablespoon of olive oil. Why? Because I use the whole egg instead of the egg yolk. So I added a drop more olive oil. And then we have the chopped garlic. That was 2 cloves. 2 cloves of chopped garlic. Got that. Basil paste. We're going to add 1 tablespoon of this. Look how nice that is. It's beautiful, green, nice and fresh. So when I put it back in the freezer, I don't just put the plastic lid on it. To keep the top nice and fresh looking, put a piece of saran wrap, press it down on it, and then put the lid. Okay? So we're going to put in 1 tablespoon, that's plenty. And then the last, there are 2 more items, and not too much, because this is 1 teaspoon, I want 1/2 teaspoon. Okay, 1/2 teaspoon of lemon juice. Happen to be using this. I use this quite often, but it's better to use fresh. But since I have that, and it's just better to use the fresh. The fresh has, of course, a fresher flavor. This has a nice color, and the last ingredient, and really the most important, is the salt. So we're going to put in there, because the salt was going to bring out the flavor of everything. We're going to start off with 1/2 teaspoon. And I know I'm going to make more, add more as soon as I taste it. 1/2 teaspoon of salt, remember that. Talking to myself. Now remember, see how thin it is? Tomorrow it'll be thicker. Half teaspoon more of salt and we're done. That's got a nice kick to it from the hot sauce, just enough. And if you really like it burning hot, you could just double that up. And we'll see how much this yields. Get a little plastic container, put it in. And you could just, you know what? You can even use this for crudité. You know, most of the time you make a horseradish dip, or Russian dressing, French dressing, avocado. But if you can use this with no problem. Okay, so that's just about almost 1 pint of spicy aioli or mayonnaise dip, and that's the end of that video. And I will be using that on my next recipe. I'm going to make something and use that.